What's up, Chief?
It's good to be back, Sal.
Oh yeah, man. I'm psyched. I'm excited.
I am too.
This was gonna be a good one.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
It's cold outside.
most definitely. Hey, you hear some crackling? Don't mind it.
Why?
It's not gonna be heard on the audio.
Is it fireworks?
No,
You sure?
no. But
Okay. You promise?
I promise you,
Okay.
it's just technical difficulties. You know,
We don't need technical difficulties.
testicle difficulties. No, I'm just kidding.
Not the testicles, Sal. We don't need testicles on here.
We don't. We just need to say what we gotta say and call it a day. We've been gone for a bit.
We have been gone for a bit. It's
Gonna-
cold outside too.
It is very cold outside.
You
For down here, right?
Yeah.
For down here, up north, this is like,
know
Spring.
what I was thinking about that was funny and made me laugh
what's that?
was, you know how they say if the groundhog sees his shadow, it's like 6 more weeks of winter, and you always got people like, gathered around to see it.
Okay,
What if? Have you heard? Have you not heard that?
I think I've heard about it. Yeah,
Okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
yeah, I think I've heard about it.
Okay, that's cool. So, what made me laugh is what if there's people surrounding it, like looking, and the groundhog comes out, and you get that one guy that's just bundled up, hates this weather,
Right.
and he's like, God, I really hope he doesn't see his shadow. Like, he's got the earmuffs, the hat, everything going on. He's like, I just really hope this guy just don't see his shadow, And the groundhog comes out, sees his shadow, and the guy's like, damn it, he saw his damn shadow. Now it's 6 more weeks of winter. I can't stand this. He walks away pissed off and upset. He's like, this son of a bitch here saw his shadow. He's like, how dare he? Does he not know how cold I am out here?
He doesn't care.
He don't care.
He's
He's a groundhog.
I don't believe it in anyways, but whatever.
Yeah. Apparently that guy did.
People believe all kinds of stuff nowadays.
That make-believe guy I just made up did. Who started that?
I don't know. People.
Was it Santa?
No, it was some
Okay.
idiot that didn't have anything better to do but then to spread rumors about the poor groundhog has nothing to do with anything.
Think about it. The groundhog been chilling, sleeping, and he walks out stretching, and he's like, oh, that was my shadow. I don't know, I'm going back inside.
I'm going back inside.
But to everyone else, it's like,
It's like it
Damn
made
it.
sense. That's
especially
stupid.
that guy. That guy was upset.
Yeah.
It's a make-believe guy.
Anyways,
You know what? He is upset, though, about it.
we've been missing guys for a bit just because several reasons, right? So life, first of all, and in life you have to work. Unless your job is to podcast, then of course you're on all the time. That is not the case with us. We do not podcast for a living.
We should.
If it brought in money, I would do it definitely, but it doesn't right now. It doesn't pay the bills
Right now.
Right now,
But it will.
and if it does, great, But anyways, also been giving people time to catch up watching stuff. Maybe not everybody watches stuff straight through. Like I'm one of those guys. If the podcast is really interesting, then I watch it straight through.
100%.
And if it's not so interesting, that I might bits and pieces when I'm bored. Let me go back to it. Maybe we're boring our viewers. I don't know.
Man, maybe.
Really, we should build that wall. That's ridiculous.
God, that wall. No, the wall mentioned was this wall. We took all this time off. I'm surprised you didn't do nothing with this wall. I thought that's why you were taking time off.
No,
I thought that for sure this wall would have.
no. Like I don't think I've even changed the time on that clock. I don't even know if that clock works.
Turn that clock into an
It's
all
just
things.
up there.
Put the all things relevant on there.
I heard we were gonna have some merch for us.
Well, possibly.
Oh, possibly.
Yeah. Well, we were gone for a while, so
Right.
I figured
That's fine.
I figured you just took the podcast to the back of the barn and said, "Look out in the field,
No,
put it down,"
no. I told you.
without consulting me.
I call quits. I'm telling you. Hey, I'm gone.
Okay.
Look for a replacement. That's perfectly fine.
I'm gonna need the mics then if that ever happens.
Well, I'm gonna need the money.
Damn. That's fair.
It's fair.
That's fair.
I'm not gonna charge you full price.
Oh, okay. And that's even better.
You get a buddy discount for
Yeah,
sure.
There you go. What is it, like a few dollars off or something?
No, I'll give you some good
$2
discount
off.
for sure. No, it's got to be more.
50 cents.
I mean, it's used up equipment and
Still works.
again, buddy discount.
Oh, there you go.
I'll get you a good hookup for
We're
sure.
buddies.
For
I
sure.
thought we were friends.
We're friends, buddies.
Which
that's what
one
they
was
say.
it? I think you said buddies. Was it the one you weren't really sure about, or was it friends?
Did I say anything about buddies? I don't know because
I
I
don't know.
use it phrase buddy for like when I'm trying to be nice to a guy. Like, hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, man. We're friends. You know, like, you'll get the friend buddy hookup, like
100%.
whichever way you want to look at it. As long as you get the discount, that's really what matters. You know what I mean?
What comes with the mics? Is it just the mics?
So with the mics, it'll be the mics, the arms here, the cables.
Okay.
Can
I get the camera? I'll
think about it.
I'll get my own camera.
I'll think about it.
I'll get my own.
I mean, I could sell you the package, right, and give you the buddy discount, and then it's worth it. It's a bundle.
I just love that we're talking about selling the mics.
People are like, "So are these guys gonna podcast, or are they gonna like sell stuff? What's going on?"
They're selling each other things. What is that? You're trying to get a deal.
Hey, by the way, you gotta be careful when you're selling stuff nowadays, man.
Why? Oh yeah, that's
so many scams, man.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Crazy how they do all kinds of stuff. Like now they're trying to do the whole like, oh, I need to know you're not a robot. Send me this, and then they get into your other accounts. And
I get texts all the time just from random things, like, oh, you got to pay this, if not, you're going to jail. And I was like, oh, what do I got to pay that I'm going to jail for?
My wife's cousin was telling this story about they always get the older people.
Oh yeah, because they don't know.
Because they don't know technology and they don't know stuff like this. So
all they know is a rotary phone.
And I don't know what was going on with her and what she had going on, but apparently she thought she was talking to this guy that she met online. I personally think she's too old to even be online, like meeting people. Like I'm like, okay, so you don't know about the Zelle thing, but you know about Tinder. No, that's great.
Hey, old people get around.
Hey,
they got nothing else to do.
No judgment. You know.
A lot of scams on Tinder though.
You gotta get your cookie, swatted. You got some dust and you need to get it off so you can get to the chocolate chips.
Yeah. Damn. Damn, that's crazy. Hey, that's scams on Tinder. That's where it all happens.
I don't know, but she met supposedly somebody that was a handsome gentleman that was in a military outfit, and she was like, supposedly had been talking to this person for a while, and this person was saying, oh, I need money for this, money for that.
Yeah, fake, 100%.
And she was sending the money, of course. I don't know what happened in between, and she's like, this doesn't seem right. And so then she went to the bank, and she's talking with, of course, my wife's cousin that he works at the bank, and he was trying to help her. He was genuinely concerned for what was going on for her, and she's like, oh, well, I already sent. I think she had already sent like $10,000 or $5,000.
God!
But now they're asking me
who has that kind of money, Sal?
Apparently, this old lady.
Ooh, she's selling coke on the side or something.
Man, maybe
she moving bricks.
Cocaine bear. Have you seen the preview for that?
I have. It's ridiculous.
I want to watch it just because it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it looks fun just because it's like stupid.
Based
like,
on a true
dude.
Story.
Well, okay, so that's the part that gets me too. Is like, of course they had to.
Okay, hey, but before, let's get back to your.
Right. Okay. So
we'll get back into the Coke Bear later.
So she had already sent $10,000 or $5,000, and so then he was like, to going through the process. Well, okay, so like, to who or what's going on? Oh, I met this gentleman and this and that, and he's like, I'm sorry, I have to tell you, but this gentleman that you think you're talking to is not real. Like, he's just somebody who's trying to take money from you, and it's working. So
there's no way.
Now the remaining 5,000, 10,000 that you're supposedly. If you want to send it, it's up to you.
Yeah.
He's like, but I'm telling you, you're not getting that money back.
No.
It's gone.
Yeah. It's overseas somewhere.
Yeah. I was like, used man, for something else. Freaking Habdad.
God, how do you know it's that? You don't know. But it could be the neighbor. Who knows?
It could be.
Who knows?
And he might be named Habdad. I'm kidding. But hey, look, really, if you think about it, this is props to these guys.
Why?
Habdads.
What?
Those guys are smart, man. They are intelligent beings. Right?
I guess so.
This is what I'm saying. I can't do that.
You can't. Maybe you have morals. That's why.
I can't. No, even with my morals, like if I were to say, oh, you know what? I want to see how I can like get $10,000 from this person. Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Just tell him you need 10 grand to get out of a bind. That you owe Jimmy on the dock some money, and then that's about it. And then put a bandage on your knee or something. Like, if you don't, man, it's gonna take my knees away.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways, so guys, be careful when you're selling, buying. My wife ever goes out, like she's gonna buy stuff from online, I always go with her.
Yeah.
I never trust her just going by herself because I don't trust people.
Have to.
I don't trust people whatsoever. I don't like people whatsoever.
No, you don't. That's why you live way out here. On the way up here, I was like, oh, he lives too far.
I like to inform people with what I can, but other than that, hey, it's up to you what you do. So yeah, man, you got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
Buying online or selling online, it can go south in so many ways.
That's why I don't like doing it. If you can't get it in person, you don't need it.
Well, and so a lot of these people, what they'll do is they'll say, oh, I'll have so-and-so pick it up. I'll send you a deposit for, whatever X amount, if that's doable. Because a deposit, it favors you, right, as the seller. You're like, oh, that's great, right? He's giving me some money.
Yep.
What you don't understand is behind that, you giving them information, they're going to do something with it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, to try to get money out of you without you even recognizing they're taking money out of you. So they'll do that. I've run into a couple of things where, because I've helped my wife with selling stuff and making sure I keep her safe from scammers. And, they'll be consistent with repeating, oh, I'll deposit it. You got to keep telling them, no, I take cash, dude. I take cash, only cash.
Only cold hard cash.
Cold hard cash or cold hard cocaine. But
I don't know about cocaine. That's a little harsh.
But so
what are you going to do with that? You ain't going to do nothing with that.
I mean, I don't know. Give
it to a bear.
Give it to a bear.
Make a movie about it.
So, and they eventually back down. They won't even reply back or whatever.
Oh, yeah, scammers 100%.
Yeah, and so
either that or trying to hurt y'all.
Either that or then they'll like. It's funny. They get mad. They get aggravated, and then they'll curse you out or they'll like insult you. You're like, dude, you don't even know me. I don't know you. You're just so petty right now because I didn't fall for your little trap.
Dude, you're the one want to buy it for me.
You're still broke.
Damn. You gonna use the B word on themselves?
The B word, broke, as a joke.
They get mad at you. Like, dude, why you mad? You were trying to buy from me. I don't care if you buy it or not.
I really don't. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
that's why I go buy it in person or in the stores. And if I gotta, order it from someone else from like Craigslist or something, then I don't need it.
Yeah. Well, to each their own on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
You always meet someone somewhere. Don't.
We've always done that. Like one time I forgot, my PS4 didn't need it anymore. I sold it and I met the person at a police station. And it was funny. So that experience was super funny to me because obviously I went by myself. My wife didn't come with me. She was going off to do something and she's like, oh, just be safe. She's really concerned. And I think I was on the phone with her at the time.
But you're at a police station. I mean, how?
It was funny because I couldn't get to the police station, so there was a park in front of it, like really, really in front of it, like right there. So I was like, you know what? Just meet me here. Just where the direction led me. The guy was like, all right. So the situation was funny because this truck pulls up. It parks next to me. Well, at first there was this car that was passing by. It's like a Honda Civic or Honda Accord, and it was just really weird to me. Like I was like, what the heck is this dude? You got to be alert, right? So I was like, this seems suspicious to me. I don't know what it ended up being, but the car didn't stay there. But either way, I kept on my toes.
Gotta stay on your toesies.
Yep. And so then a truck pulls up, and then he had told me, he's like, oh, I'm driving this, this one I'm going to be coming in. And I was like, all right, cool. And so then I see the truck that he had mentioned. I said, okay, this is him. And so there's a person driving, obviously, and then there's somebody on the passenger seat in the front, and then there's two other homies in the back of the truck.
Dang, what they think you were going? You think you were going 5 deep or something?
And so it was funny because at this point I look over and I didn't even panic. Obviously, I just laughed, and I was like, "Well, I guess this is how it goes." All right, let's do this.
You said this is how Sal goes.
This is how Sal goes. I was like, I'm not going to go out without a fight. I guarantee you that somebody's getting hurt some way or another before I die.
It's going to be you.
I mean, other than me.
I don't know. Can you do damage to somebody?
Oh, yeah. With a knife? For sure.
You have to, though. It's self-defense.
Exactly. So, if I got to stab you, I'm going to stab you.
Damn.
So, but you know what? I think the guy it was a young dude that was probably like 17 years old and didn't have his driver's license or something. And he was really easygoing, nice dude and everything.
He probably stole the car too from his parents.
So I don't know. For the most part, if anything, all the sales we've done or anytime we've bought has gone very well.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Which is, it's great.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate to not be of the unfortunates that have ran into people that like robbed them at gunpoint and stuff like that.
Yeah, or scam like your wife's, was it grandma, aunt?
Well, no, it was the cousin works at a bank. He was talking to an older lady. She's the one that was getting scammed. Yeah, it wasn't anybody related to
You
this.
said the lady was related to your wife.
No. I said my wife's cousin works at the bank, and he was talking with this old lady that was getting scammed.
Well, I didn't hear any of that. I heard your wife's...
You're not paying attention, man.
No, obviously not. Because I could have swore you said you're right. We're running back later.
Watch it.
Well,
watch it on the podcast.
I'm going to watch it and go, well, there it is.
There it is.
Yep.
That's where it happened.
That's where it all started.
And then cocaine came and did bear. A bear came and did cocaine.
And then the cocaine bear happened and we lost track again.
But yeah, that's the only reason why I want to watch that movie is because it looks kind of like one of those outlandish, stupid things that is like, really?
It looks like someone was on crack when they made up that script and it's a true story.
Right.
I mean, I think the bear ate, I forgot how many pounds of cocaine and went crazy and killed people. And then the cops had a hard time putting it down. And coke does wonders for animals, apparently.
I feel like obviously they had to kind of, and I'm not saying, I mean, obviously with movies, even with the ones that have like true story, true happenings, whatever, they always have to kind of exaggerate it a bit or add to it because if not, the movie would most likely be short. Like what? How do they know certain scenes? Obviously, they're gonna have certain scenes where it's just a bear. Like obviously, you don't know that the bear being the only thing that was near. Maybe they show a scene. He got into a house and he was in the house by himself, like eating stuff. You don't know that.
You mean like Goldilocks and the Three Bears?
Like Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Damn. Was he eating porridge?
No. Damn. He was eating a bowl of cocaine.
That was in the porridge.
It was in the porridge. Exactly.
They got mixed up. Instead of sugar or sugar powder, they used Coke.
Exactly.
They were trying to hide it from everybody.
By the way,
what?
I think you had told me.
But I tell you a lot of things.
Sidetracking from the cocaine bear. I think that's done. Right? There's not much more to it.
There's not. I mean, if you want to watch it, go watch it.
Guys, go watch the movie. No, I'm just kidding. we're promoting another podcast.
We're not getting paid, but we're going to tell y'all guys to go.
They're our sponsors. No, you were telling me, because I had seen, and then you were saying about the Andrew Tate got arrested.
On some false charges.
Mm-hmm.
That they can't find nothing on them, and I didn't go into too much research in it because as soon as I told you, I completely forgot about it to look it up and see what's really going on. But from what I've seen, they seized his cars and everything, and they pretty much planted charges that he was trafficking women, and he never did any of that. And actually, people that have actually seen, like, met him and hung out with them, like on their yachts and stuff, they said like him and his brother are the nicest people in the world. And actually look out for everybody. So one guy actually said, I got to hang out with them, and they're just the nicest people, and called Ubers for people that needed it. And how do I get that from sex trafficking? And they can't find no evidence on them apparently. And I mean, it's the Illuminati. I mean,
Illuminati.
I don't want to say it too loud because they might come after us.
Illuminati. I'm ready.
But yeah,
I was ready for those 4 guys in the truck. I'm ready for the Illuminati.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are. They're gonna send you out somewhere. But yeah, pretty much that's it. As far as that, I mean, I have to do more research on it. And but yeah, I mean, pretty much they give them some false charges on all that, just to shut them up, just to get them off the internet and stop promoting the Matrix and breaking the Matrix and breaking all this and that, and so that's pretty much what they're doing with it. He's on his second strike now, and his third strike is, he has said it too. He's on his second strike, and the third strike is when they get him. So as far as like putting him down. So,
but he said that he's on his second strike. On the third strike, they get him.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you get somebody on strikes when you're okay? So you're taking somebody into custody without evidence. So, for like my question to you, right, as a piece of this conversation. First of all, why did you even go handcuff him and take him into custody? Okay, because supposedly he was sex trafficking. But where was the proof to back that up for you to even go take him into custody?
They don't care.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what he's saying too. It's like they can't find nothing on them. So it's like everything they're saying is just false. That I know of, that I've heard of.
Right.
You know. So, yeah.
Well, there would be something coming out, right? Like, for example, tying it up with the Jeff Epstein stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like there was allegations against him, and what happened? Like all these women come out and say, yes, this did happen. I can describe things to you, and so it adds up, and you're like, okay, this evidence makes sense. And it's not just one person specifically describing how their, for example, how his house looked, his mansion, how his room looked, the actions that led to it, right? It was multiple women saying the same thing that had nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
So then that was like, okay, yeah, this is true. There's nobody coming forth about him and what supposedly he's done. So that means it's not true. So to me, it's like, how do you go about going to take somebody into custody when you don't even have proof? Like, I can go to the cops right now and tell them, oh, my neighbor is, selling crack. And they'll be like, well, how do you know? I don't. I'm just saying.
What are you going to do?
Okay, we're going to go get him into custody right now. But you don't even have proof. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Don't do that to your neighbor.
I wouldn't.
He's a good guy, I think. Is he good?
He's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a nice older guy.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. How you can't go just, oh, hey, we're arresting you because, we believe you're trafficking women or trafficking people, even though we don't have evidence. Okay, that's smart.
No. Well, apparently, hey, that's them. They obviously they don't care about that. They're just trying to get them off the internet. That's really what they're trying to do. Just get them out and put them in the back burner and let them fade away. As far as memory, I guess. So people try to forget them. But honestly, I don't know.
So I have a colleague of mine that he's a genius when it comes to what he does as far as a profession. And he's telling me, hey, I have this idea to kind of start putting pieces together and kind of have like our own business going, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, essentially.
You going into business now?
I'm going to go do some business and try to get a lot of money.
There you go.
A lot of buddy. What a lot of buddy, honey. Anyways, so I'm, and I'm like, hey, well, okay, come up. He's got ideas, but I can't just hop on board without knowing what's what, right? So I'm like, we'll get it all down, what you're thinking, and then pitch it to me when you have like everything concrete, and then I can choose. Yes, I want to join in with you on this, or like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, okay, cool. One of the things that he's telling me is about joining the online school that Andrew Tate has.
Hustlers University?
Yeah. And I said, like, for real? Like, wait,
That's a real thing.
Are you being for real with me about, like, doing this? Like, he's like, yeah, that's, like, the starting point. We're just going to do that, and then we'll, keep going through.
Apparently it works.
Okay, so when he told me that, I said, well, he's like, why are you questioning me about it? I said, well, because I thought that school was like a scam. Like, I thought that was my understanding. He's like, it's not. He's like, I've done my due diligence on his online school, and with the research that I've done, it's legit. Also, he has 160,000 people on that university. He's like, that's the largest amount of students that attend an online course. Obviously, this is for online. He's got the most attendees. He's like, there's no way 160,000 people are still going to this university if it's not working.
Yeah.
And I said, that makes a lot of sense.
That's true, though. Think about it. If it was a scam, someone real quick would be out there to announce it and be like, hey, don't do it. This dude's scamming.
Correct.
But if that many people are there willing to stay there and keep doing it, then he must be doing something right.
Yeah.
As far as that.
So I said, okay, you're right. That makes sense. So, all right, well, if we got to do that, I'm gonna go join the Andrew Tate University, bro.
You're going to join Hustlers University?
Hustler University, man. I'm gonna be a Hustler University alumni.
The newest member of the Hustlers University.
The newest member of the Hustler University alumni.
But who's going to teach the class, though? He's in jail. You think they got a sub?
He's got it, like, I guess, recorded out, his courses.
Okay. That's smart.
And so you pay for the subscription, and then you get the, I guess the knowledge base, whatever. But, I mean, hey, like I said, I trust this guy. He's smart, man. This guy's smart. So, I trust him, and whatever comes out of it with ideas he comes, then that's what I guess that's like the first step we're doing.
Yeah. Hey.
So
if it works, man. Good luck to you.
Thank you. That's what I'm hoping.
I've never met someone that's actually joined Hustlers University before.
You about to meet somebody when it happens.
When you going to class, Sal?
Well, once he tells me that we're gonna do this, then that's when I'm gonna start. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll podcast it for sure.
There you go. Gonna podcast like, man, you are thirsty today. What is wrong with you?
Oh, by the way, maybe it's something you don't know about me.
What? I don't know a lot about you.
Check this Coke out, right?
What about it?
The audience too. I want them to know this.
They can't see the Coke. Camera's too far.
I want them to know about this Coke bottle.
What?
When you look at this Coke bottle, what do you see?
A Coke bottle with the red label, red top.
Correct.
Black.
And that's exactly what it is. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I was like, yes. So sometimes what I do is I'll either drink. Most of the time I don't drink half of it. I'll pour out half of the Coke.
Why? What's wrong with you?
Because I want to fill the other half with water.
What?
So I can dilute it.
Oh my god.
And a lot of people are like, yeah, you're killing the taste. I'm like, it gives it a different taste.
What?
And I'm okay with it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
You just put some ice cubes in it and let it melt. At least it'd be cold.
No, because then I'd have to put it somewhere, like in a cup or something. I want to keep it in the bottle.
What does it matter?
And I know that's a waste of money.
It's a sin.
A waste of half of a Coke. But you know what?
Give that half to your
It's my money. I don't give a damn.
And you're about to have a lot more with Hustlers University.
Exactly. I'm going to be buying Coke bottles out of the anus, bruh.
Whoa.
And I'm going to be driving on the passenger side of a Bentley.
You're going to Japan?
Or a Phantom. And I'm going to have Coke bottles. And I'm just going to be pouring out half as we ride down the street.
The right side? You going like to Europe or something? Or what? You said right side.
Wherever it is. I don't know. Wherever. I don't know.
You talking about right on the right side? So are you going to Europe?
Yeah, I'm gonna be at Europe. I'm gonna be chilling with Andrew Tate.
Is it where he is? He's in Romania.
I don't know.
Is that Europe?
Romania has to be on the eastern
is it
part? So right side.
Hey, there you go. Are you gonna go visit him? You gonna visit your professor?
I'm gonna visit my professor and say, Sensei.
Sensei, Grandmaster.
How do we sneak? How do we sneak people in? Well, you don't build a wall, that's for sure.
That's the wall comment. Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on with that. I said, do the wall. I said, or what was it? Like, yeah, it was there, right? Yeah, do the wall. And I said, I'm not sure how to take that. I'm not sure if you're inciting that we keep immigrants out, or if I'm doing the wall.
Yeah, there should have been a lot more to that comment.
Hey, appreciate the comment though, right? That's cool.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We're talking about it, and so we appreciate the comment. The comment was cool. It brings out conversations, right? And look at how just that one comment brought out like a conversation.
Maybe that person should comment more stuff like that.
Exactly, and stuff will come out.
It will come out.
Hey, ideas is what I'm saying.
We need ideas.
Comments create ideas. So guys, comment.
Yeah.
And we can talk about what you guys want us to talk about.
There you go.
Because I'll just sit up here and talk about anything that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that's interesting to me is not interesting to other people, for a fact.
No, I know that for experience.
Remember, I was talking about bunnies humping. Like, nobody wants to hear about that.
That's old. That's way back in the. That's first episode.
Exactly.
Is it first episode?
And now I'm talking about Cokes being filled up with half water.
That's weird. God, you are just like, if it's every minute you're taking a sip out of that thing.
It keeps it going, man. It keeps it going. Keeps me focused. Keeps
you going.
Keeps my thought trained.
Keeps you on your edge and toesies.
Exactly.
That's what's up. You got to.
Huh?
You got to.
Got to, man.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking about staying on your toesies,
What?
those that didn't stay on their toesies
Who?
were those, man, you know, okay, so so let me come back with that. I want to phrase it differently because I don't want it to come off offensive.
Run it back. It's going to be offensive coming from you anyway.
I don't want it to come off offensive to the families that went through this, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those unfortunate beings that were killed in the killing fields.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds better.
That sounds better.
I would imagine the first time you were going to say it was going to sound really...
It was going to be very horrific.
Yeah.
Horrific.
I bet it was.
So, and that's one of the things that I think is important as people... I mean, obviously, when you as you age, you kind of learn these things. I used to be the kind of person that I didn't think before I spoke.
No, you still don't.
Like, I just... Like, and now
and
it's like...
the only reason you thought about it is because we're on camera.
Well, precisely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're with friends, you know, they know you, so they're like, okay, he didn't mean anything offensive by it. He's just, but
No,
you know,
when I hang out with you, you mean I always tell people he means everything offensive that he says.
oh yeah. But so you know, and so obviously, not that it's like, okay, I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but I'm gonna be a little more, I guess, cautious if it's
respectable,
you know, eyes on me, especially with this scenario of the killing fields.
Yeah.
And for those of you who
you got to educate me on that one, because when you told me to look at it, yeah, I completely forgot about it. So
perfectly fine, man. Look, everybody who is gonna listen to this or is listening to this, please, especially if you're here from Texas, Houston, Texas, it's good to watch it. It's a documentary.
H-Town.
It's a documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
That has to do with serial killing events that happened in or I think it was the strip of Galveston, like Galveston to basically the strip of 45.
Yeah.
Along the coast.
Okay.
And apparently it was something that started back in as early as I think 50s to 60s.
Ooh.
That's when it started.
Way back then.
Now, it didn't happen to where it was 50s or 60s and it just like, it was nothing but that whole year killing. So 50s killing, 60s killing, 70s. No. It was like so spread out.
Yeah.
The killings were so spread out.
It wasn't consistent.
It wasn't consistent.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like a death per month or anything like that,
yeah.
or a death per week. No, it was spaced out. And what ended up happening was there was these sightings at this particular field. And obviously, if you Google it, you'll know the exact location. I can't remember, but it's within the 45. And this place became known as the Killing Fields.
Yeah.
The reason for that was because they ended up finding a body at first, obviously. There was a sighting of a corpse, and then they were like, oh, man, you know, this is crazy. Like, this is not the kind of stuff you find, obviously, in those times within this area.
Was it like a crop field or like meant for crops, or it just...
It was just a field. Just a field.
Okay.
It didn't have anything that was like... I mean, it was one of those kind of typical fields where people dump stuff here and there.
Okay.
And so you might have seen like trash or like stuff that was
kind of like a landfill type deal.
Like a landfill kind of deal.
Someone said, I don't want this trash no more.
And they just
throw it in the field.
Here's an empty space, and I'm just gonna leave it here.
Bastards.
Yeah. So they ended up finding a body, and then I think the first body they couldn't identify, and so eventually what ended up happening was one way or another, then they found another body. Almost pretty close to the same area where they found the first one. So then after they find the second one, they're like, well, what are the chances that maybe we can find another body? And so, you know, they go about searching, and sure enough, they find a third body.
Oh, wow.
Also relatively close to the same areas where the other bodies were at.
Was it the same person doing all of it, or they don't know, or...
So, what basically... And again, all of this, if you're interested in watching the documentary and you don't want any spoilers,
Are there spoilers for documentaries? I don't know.
There are.
Is there?
Yeah, because when you're watching documentaries, they're kind of building stuff up, right?
That's true.
They're building it up, and you're kind of trying to connect the pieces, right? You're kind of doing the detective work for a little bit.
Yeah, for
until they finally come out and say, "Oh,
episode.
you know, this, and that," and then you're like, "Oh my god!" Like I kind of knew that. And then other ones kind of leave you kind of in the air, where it's like, we've given you the evidence, you can for yourself
try to determine it yourself and see what's going on and whatnot.
Right, like they'll have unsolved cases, right? Like they'll have unsolved cases, and it's like, okay, this is what happened. This is the evidence that we have, and this and that, and then you decide, oh, you know, there's no way this person didn't do it or whatever have you. So yes, right now, if you're planning on watching it, it's a very good documentary on Netflix called The Killing Fields, and it's about true events. Obviously, it's a documentary. Killings that happened within the stretch of the 45 near Galveston area, stuff like that. So anyways, what ended up happening was they found other bodies. Time progressed, and obviously, like I said, it was spaced out.
Yeah.
And so one of the bodies that they found, which was sad, was, I think it was a young girl that was like 14 years old. I think it was like 13, 14, somewhere around that age range.
Horrible.
Which is like, that's terrible, right? Like, if you find out that there's a young woman that was murdered that was maybe 23 years old, still sucks. But it's like, okay, you know, older, more mature person. Right?
Someone dying or being killed is horrible, no matter how they age and whatnot.
Correct.
You know? So, I mean, the age doesn't matter. I mean, just someone losing a family member in general, no matter the age, is still bad.
Correct.
Just because they're older now doesn't mean it hurts any less, you know?
Obviously, but when you hear about if it's an infant, then it just hits harder. Or if it's like a toddler or something, because you're like, you know, you find out about maybe a incident that happened where there's a car accident. Oh, and there was a, 8-year-old in the back, and they died. You're like, holy crap, that sucks. As a little kid, they had their life ahead of them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where this sits with like that 13, 14-year-old girl. It's like, man, she was so young. Apparently, she was a really good kid. She got good grades. She was, involved in her school, and she was,
an A student.
An A student, and she was just a great person.
Yeah.
Right. As most kids usually are.
Yeah. And
so that part was like really sad. It hit harder than obviously the rest of them. But what ends up happening with the documentary is you find out that this particular incident of this serial killing that was going on was particular because usually when there's a serial killer loose, if anything, it's always it's one. And it's like, there's a buildup of bodies, and it's just one person that was doing it.
Yeah.
At the moment, apparently, when this was going on,
there was multiple.
There was two.
Oh, wow. So
what ends up happening is they get this one person that they suspected, and they're like, okay, this has got to be the guy. And so they, if I'm not mistaken, they put him in jail for a bit, but then they still end up finding bodies.
Yeah.
So they're like, so how does this happen, and from what time frame, right? So then they do the research, they do the investigation, and they're like, so this happened while this person was in jail. So either he's not the serial killer and we've just got the wrong person, or
there's another.
Then they put it together. There's another guy.
Were they working together, or were they just? It was just two guys doing separate things on their own terms.
So apparently, it was two guys doing their own thing, separate terms.
It was
coincidence
that they were just throwing them there.
It was the same area, close to the same time frames.
How many bodies in total?
I think it was a total of 8 bodies. Might have been more.
Okay.
But so what ended up happening was they obviously targeted women.
As usual.
And it was always, obviously the way to pick at it was because they were alone.
Yeah.
And so the killings that happened, obviously, since it was back in the days, it was tough to, you didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
You didn't have these type of things to help you, find these people. These killings also happened before the time of DNA. So they couldn't,
Really?
56, yeah, they did not have DNA. In the documentary, you learned that DNA, like being able to test DNA, didn't come into play until like late 80s to early 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So one of the bodies that they found, remember, they couldn't identify. They said, well, we don't know who this person is, was because at the time there was no way to figure out DNA.
That makes sense, I guess.
But they had kept, apparently, something that they took from the corpse intact to when once they had DNA, they came back to it. And they were able to figure out who it was.
Wow.
I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How, like, technology, like far along technology has come.
So usually it was all women that were getting killed, huh? Is what you said?
It was all women. And, obviously the small girl, but obviously still a woman, obviously on that end. And so they were able to find out the first guy, like, for sure, was because one of the girls actually survived. She was going to be the next victim, and she survived. And so she was really, really brave when you think about what she did, because he's on the highway. The dude's going like 60. And she says, if I stay in this truck, like, this dude's going to kill me. There's no way this is ending up any kind of good way for me if I stay in this truck.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm going to take my chances. So she pops the door open and jumps out of the truck with this car going like 60 miles or more on the freeway.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not so busy because it's at night. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was probably like early on in the morning or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, they end up catching him because the girl does the best she can to get away, and runs to like a diner or something like that. And then she's all hurt. So the people there observe her and they're like, oh, are you okay? Like, what's going on? She's all frantic. They call the police. They come in, they do their work, and then they, talk. They get I think it was like 4 or 5 suspects that fit the description that she gave them. And so they finally catch him because they have them say a certain line.
Yeah.
And so the girl remembers the voice. She's like, yeah, that's him.
What was the line? Did they say?
I think the line was, I don't recall. But it was a specific phrase he said, and then that's what triggered it.
Yeah.
So she remembered, and then they took him in. They interrogate him and said, no, you got the wrong guy. Blah, blah, blah. Well, at the end of the series, so he's apparently the one that killed, I believe he's the one that killed the little girl.
Oh, wow.
And the reason they
what was the purpose of that, though? Like, what's the purpose? I mean, what's the purpose of doing any of that, really? He was possessed.
So many things, man. But apparently this guy was doing this in like a space of time. Like time was a gap, right?
Yeah. Like every few years or
like something like that happened. And so they ended up finding out the body of the little girl, and that he had done it only because he apparently there had been other killings that he was linked to. And in order for him not to get charged on those killings, he agreed to cooperate and said, okay, basically it was what do they call that? A negotiation. If I don't get charged with these, I'll tell you where her body is. So they're like, okay. And so he ended up pinpointing where the body was, exactly where it was, and how he had put her there or whatever. And they ended up finding the girl's body. So he was like an obvious, okay, he did it. Because at first he claimed he didn't know.
Yeah.
And then somehow
usually
he ended up finding out, oh, you do know where the body's at, because obviously he had killed her. So then that one particular guy was obviously found out that he was doing the killings. The other person that was in question wasn't, basically that kind of got left in the air, like, you decide if it was him or not.
Yeah.
And before him, a lot of people accused and thought that it was a gentleman that lived close to that field. And it was ideal, right? Like, this dude lives so close to this field. He knows it very well. And apparently they went, a lot of it went because they say, oh, when there's a serial killer, they usually like to go back to the spot
where
they
everything
committed the
happened.
murder or whatever. Yeah. And apparently he used to go out to those fields a lot, especially whenever there was people, like the cops coming in for investigation, he would be present.
Yeah.
And so they asked him, like, one time they ended up questioning him, and they said, why is it that you're always present when we come in to, investigate and find out? And he said, I'm interested in these things that happen. Like,
he's just curious.
He was curious and apparently he was concerned to the extent where he was doing his own detective work.
Oh.
So he was like, when I see that what you guys are doing, then I kind of build up on my own, like.
So he's trying to just help them out,
exactly,
but behind closed doors.
But behind closed door, like his own work.
Yeah.
And I guess to the public, it made him seem suspicious. Like, okay, why is he so interested in this?
Yeah, I mean, actually, you know, the cops or wherever, detectives, be like, why is this guy so interested?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just learning everything that we are, and probably more. You know, is it to make him do his whatever he's doing better, or as far if he is the one killing these women and
right,
you know, all this and that.
So the documentary starts off, if I'm not mistaken, with the father of one of the victims talking about, you know, how the incident went down. They had left at the gas station because the mom was running late to work, and so they were around there, and they said, okay, well, you can walk back home. You know, never a good idea.
No.
I don't know why people would think that.
Hey, that was back then.
And you're right, it was different times, I guess, but like I said, I don't trust anything.
No.
So apparently that's when his daughter got obviously picked up and killed, was because she was walking home by herself. And you have to understand, this area, especially back in the times, 50s, 60s, was a lot of nothing.
Oh,
There's not really anybody around.
No.
There wasn't houses. It was a lot of empty space. And so obviously easy. And so this man, he was so obviously distraught from what was going on that when he found out that this guy was possibly, like, he was a suspect, you know, he was in so much anger and sadness that he basically threatened this guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, you know, it was you. I know it was you. And he was so sure, right? Like, he threatened him and everything. And then the town, or the community became so upset as well that I guess he would receive threats as well from, you know,
who would they
people.
get, the suspect?
Yeah, the guy who was the suspect. He would get threats from people obviously he didn't know and stuff like that. It forced him to move. It forced him to move, and he moved away. And so it was sad because after that happened, they found out then it wasn't him, because the killings continued.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so then it's not him.
You gotta talk this dude out of his home for nothing.
Because there's no way he's driving over here from, like, I think he had moved like 10 hours away or something like that.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he moved very far. There's no way he's coming from over there
to here
killing, and like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So basically come to find out, the dad ends up, like, years later, he apologizes to the gentleman, and I don't know if, you know, the fact that he had been a suspect had followed him even away from where he moved, that the guy ended up killing himself.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was like he couldn't take it off the fact that he was innocent.
Well, think about it. Something like that. I mean, that goes, you know, far. You know, even back then, you know, they were quick to put it out there. Oh, this, you know, this person's a suspect of this. So, of course, anywhere you go, especially if it's done here in Texas, I mean, back then, the little towns or whatever that he probably moved to, I'm sure they figured it out really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, the newspaper and, you know, all that, you know, I'm sure the word got around really quick.
Yeah. Word always travels one way or another. So that drove him to commit suicide, which sucks because sometime after if I'm not mistaken, sometime after he committed suicide, they pinpoint that it was a guy who lived, I think, 2 blocks or something like that, or 2 streets over from where the one of the victims lived. Mm-hmm. And apparently, it was said later on that one of the friends of that victim, she said, she told me that guy, the one that they finally found out, this could be very well be the suspect.
Yeah.
Like the actual, person that might have done it. She was like, that guy creeps me out. Like, he always stays looking at me a little weird when we walk. Because I think she used to walk with her friend that lived around there with, when they would get home from school, and they would walk somewhere near where he lived.
Yeah.
To get to her house. And so, basically, all along, the guy was more likely living within the same community.
That's usually how it is.
It's usually how it is.
The same. I mean, look at Dahmer. Same thing. He lived literally down, right next door to the club where he was getting the guys from. I mean, this dude ain't no different.
Exactly.
He's living down the street from the field. I mean, it's just easy for him just to snatch somebody, do what he's doing, and then take them to the field and then go home.
And that's why how these serial killings happen is because, you're in the same area.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think that when you look at these situations like serial killings, you're like, man, like, you could have literally seen the person that did it. You never even knew it.
Yeah. It's like that, everyone says nowadays, like, you could be walking in downtown or just really anywhere. You could be walking right next to a serial killer. You wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't know it.
You could walk right past 10 of them and you wouldn't know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Anyways, I think he ended up getting free 9 years after.
What?
Yeah, because
who
something about the evidence.
Who set that guy free?
Somebody did. The law did.
No.
The system did. Because there's flaws in it.
No.
There's immense flaws in the system. And I know there's people that are going to say, oh, the justice system works and it's right. And okay. Then you explain to me the bunch of people that are incarcerated, falsely incarcerated. You explain that to me if the system works.
Yeah.
And, there's always people that will come back and say, well, eventually, the system will work in their favor and they'll be released. But they should have never been in there if the system actually works.
You talking about someone that's innocent and still in there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because you'll hear about a lot of cases where, so-and-so was locked up for 20 years, and then new evidence came out, and it's like, oh, yeah, they were innocent the whole time. But they were in there for 20 years, dude. Like, that's 20 years this person can't get back from their lives for something they did not even do. Meanwhile, jerk off is still out,
Not jerk off, Sal.
But so he got released, like, I think 9 years after, because of, like, supposedly there wasn't enough concrete evidence to keep him there for longer.
But how do you not have enough concrete evidence? This dude killed multiple women, and yet, or they didn't find that he killed anybody yet, or what?
Because apparently there just wasn't enough, like, I guess, there was no murder weapon found. There was no...
But what does it...
person that came forward and said, I saw him do it. I was there.
He never admitted to it? Like, he killed...
And he'd never admitted to it. Yeah, of course, he denied everything. He's like, no, I didn't do any of this. I don't
that's why you're saying that this guy, that pretty much leave it up to the people who are watching it if he did it or not.
So that guy right there, I will call him the second guy.
The second guy.
They left it in the air where it was like,
did he do it or did
you think about if he did it or if he didn't do it. I personally think he did do it.
Well, I mean, if all arrows point to him, I mean...
And when you watch the documentary, there's obviously more to it that I can't recollect to put out, but...
You need to stop hitting the vodka then.
Huh?
Anyway.
But, there's not... I don't remember exactly everything, but this is kind of the gist of that documentary.
Yeah.
And I just really found it really interesting. It is so close to home,
Is it done like an episodes?
Yeah, I think it's like 4 episodes, all like close to an hour maybe or something like that.
That's nice.
But it's a really, really great documentary.
I'm about to check it out.
Check it out, man.
I'm checking it out.
It's dope.
Everyone check it out. Everyone check it out.
Everyone check it out, because I'm sure I said something here that was not really.
I'm sure
100% with what it said.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you watch it, you'll be like, yeah, that was.
Yeah. That's what he said. Yeah. So.
And that's what he said.
Yeah. Everyone check it out. Let's all check it out together.
Yeah.
Everyone
definitely.
get on Zoom.
Everybody? No, we're not doing that.
Oh, come on.
We will, however.
Oh.
We will, however, be using Zoom.
Really?
In order to do
what?
Whenever our guest comes on.
What?
Whenever we get a guest, right? And if they can't come.
It's been confirmed.
It's been confirmed.
It's been confirmed.
We got a guest.
We do got a guest.
Oh, snaps. This is great.
It is.
All right.
It was supposed to happen today, but it's not happening today.
That's all right.
Next time.
Next time,
for
everybody,
sure.
be on the lookout for the podcast after this one. We're gonna have a guest. You're finally not gonna be listening to just us.
Boring or us.
So we're gonna have basically another I guess you could say another point of view on
there
things.
You go, on everything. And this person has a lot of views on everything.
That's great. I love it.
A lot.
I love it.
And then if this one goes well, you know what's gonna have to happen next. Who's gonna come on after that?
Ooh, I like it. That one's got a lot of views too, on like points of views on stuff, right? Yeah.
Too much. And I don't think the world can handle.
It's gonna get caliente.
Very quick.
We might start.
There you go. But yes, the next time we do come on, we will have a good friend of ours on.
Perfect.
And he's excited. And he's
I love
ready.
It. I'm excited.
Are people going to see him or no?
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely. It's gonna be crystal clear who the person is.
You're gonna put the laptop on the.
Audio is gonna be great too. I'm gonna put the laptop right there, and y'all can see who's. No. I got a way to do this. Don't worry. Everybody.
You're gonna set the laptop right here and facing the camera with everything.
No, I got a way to do it, and it's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be quality sound.
You sure?
Well, the sound that we have now, right? Okay. And the video's gonna look great too.
You sure? I don't want to.
Obviously, it depends on their network connection as well.
That's true too.
So I can't be blamed for that.
Yeah, I need to tell them, hey, we need good internet, buddy.
You need to be right next to the router.
Right next to it.
Right next to it.
And don't be around no kids either.
Don't be around. You need to have your finger up the phone charger and the penis in the Ethernet port.
The what and the who?
Oh, God.
What's wrong with you, Sal? But, yes, he is ready. I spoke to him this morning about it. He's ready. Has a lot to say.
Oh, man, this is great.
Yep.
I love it.
So, it's happening. We're finally, after what, 4 or 5 episodes?
4 or 5 episodes, something like that.
I feel like this is like our season 2. That's what we should label it. Season 2.
Sit downs. Season 2.
Episode 1.
And just to let everybody know, I hope really what we can take away from having our guests that come on is, even though we disagree on something, rather the guest that's on proves really valid points, and I still don't agree, right?
You usually never do.
It's to each their own. There, I think there's times where I agree on stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I get it. But there's times where, like everything, right? You're not going to agree on everything.
No.
And it's totally fine, right? With whatever is mentioned, you're not wrong. It's just your way of viewing something.
It's just your opinion.
Right?
It's just how you see it,
So, that's going to be great.
That's going to be fun.
And I've talked with him a couple times. He seems like a very quiet person to people.
He's really not.
And they're like, nah, he doesn't really say. No, when you really sit down.
When you get to know him and be his friend, and he becomes a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's that type that, and I guess a lot of I'm the same way. I'm real quiet and shy around new people, but if you get to know me and, become friends, and I can talk your ear off.
For sure.
The same with our friend coming on now. Or, the next time. He's the same way,
Exactly.
And you met him. The first time we met him.
First time I met him, I was like, this dude is not a talker. But he's got a lot of ways of looking at stuff.
Oh, yeah. A whole lot.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool. So it's going to be that one's going to be a great podcast.
And it's going to be.
Sure.
That one's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait for it. By the way, everybody, being that life is busy, stuff happens. We're allowing our content to build as far as our subscribers, viewers, all that good stuff. It'll be just a podcast a month. Until numbers pick up and it looks good, and then we'll do more.
We need everyone's help to share it and get us out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean we're doing what we can, to get our numbers up. We're trying, It's harder than I thought it would be.
It definitely is not as easy. People think it's just you sit up and put it out there and people just come running. It's not the case. It's not the case.
There's a lot. We come up here and, people, I get asked a lot from family members or whatever, man, how do you sit there and you talk for so long? It's like, well, it's when you're there talking with a friend and a buddy, it's easy. We'll call each other sometimes off of this, not even talking about this, and we'll go and talk for about over an hour,
right,
about nothing. And it's like, it's easy. I said, but behind the scenes, it's harder to try to get it out there and try to promote it and try to get people to watch it. And then when you see the first numbers, you're like, okay, it's good, but then you see those numbers stay the same for a number of days or weeks, and then it just gets discouraging. And you're like, well, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah.
It's like, are these people even sharing it with other people, or are they, do they even care enough to even finish it? Or, then a lot of those doubts and thoughts go through your head, and it just gets very discouraging. But you also got to tell yourself, like for me or for us, really, it's like you say, a lot of, it's like you say, we're not getting paid for it.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, we're not getting paid for it. I get it, but it's also like, for me, it's like, man, like I know we can take this to new heights. We can take it further, but it's taking time. So I think, probably this way, maybe it would help, take a lot of this time off, do one episode a month, and maybe we get more stuff and we can promote it differently and, get more people coming in to view and stuff like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of the podcasts that do obviously higher numbers and all that is when they have people that are more socially known or they're famous.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
People want to see
about it too.
The athlete, the comedian, the singer, the movie actor, whatever.
Well, look at it this way too. We have real jobs.
Precisely.
A lot of these podcasters or whatever, they either already have money that they could just sit and do podcasting all day. That's their focus, and they can build it up that way. Or,
that's their job.
Yeah,
that's their job. That's their job. And so I'm saying that not to diminish what some of the podcasters that they have their podcast channels and their high numbers.
I mean, there's phenomenal podcasters,
and that's because that's their job, right?
Yeah.
Like, so they put that, and it's hard work. It's not just getting in there, right?
Yeah, but they also bet on themselves too,
right?
But it also costs money to do that.
Right.
So it's like, for us, it's like, we joke and talk about we need a studio, which we do at some point in doing this, if it gets to that point. But it's like, they already got the studio, they already got logos, they got sponsors from people that coming out, helping them out. It's just us.
Yeah.
We can only do so much.
Exactly.
We're literally starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
And a lot of these podcaster people, they're socially known on Instagram or TikTok, and it's like they get an idea, oh, hey, let's start a podcast, and then boom, someone comes up with some company's like, hey, we'll sponsor you or we'll help you out if you do this, but talk about this product, whatever, whenever. It's like that we don't have that.
Yeah.
It's just us. We talk about water and Coke and coffee.
And you know what? They built their stuff up. Those that were not well known to start, because obviously you have these influencers or celebrities that theirs pops up like almost immediately because they're already known.
Well, for us, it just takes longer for us,
right?
And you know what I mean? It's like, it's not that we're bad, but I don't think we are. But
we're okay.
We're okay. We're okay
at best.
We're okay. We'll leave that up to the fans.
For sure.
Leave some comments on what we are. But
I'm sure we'll get a lot of negatives. That guy Sal needs to shut up.
That'd be funny.
He doesn't know anything.
That'd be funny. You would have a lot to say about that.
You know what's funny is I see those kinds of things, and I man, it's sad. I you hear about these people that read negative comments, and they lose it and stuff happens, right? I laugh at stuff.
Well, okay, so I'll get into that, but before, it's like for us, it's just gonna take longer for us, and that's all I gotta keep saying to myself, and tell you sometimes, like, yeah, we're trying. At least we're trying.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
We're trying, and at that point, there's really nothing else we can do. We can put the content out there, we can do what we can, and after that, it's up to them. But we're trying.
Right.
It's not like we're doing it after the first episode we gave up. No, I mean we're gonna keep doing it. It's just we're not gonna do it as much as we were doing it. But you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but to get back at that, what you said with the negative comment things is like people who leave these negative comments for no reason. They're the ones that are scared to. They're the ones that you go see face to face and they'll cower down. Because they feel stronger behind a keyboard than they would in person. They're the ones that, they'll talk, mess about you all day long behind a keyboard and, put down these people who try and whatever. But when they come face to face, they'll crawfish out of it really quick. You know what I mean?
Crawfish.
God damn it, Sal. Really?
It's good.
Not right now.
Right, that would be good too.
What are your thoughts on that, Sal? Why are you talking about crawfish and whatnot?
I agree with it partially.
Okay, I'm about to start yelling at you.
And this is why I feel like there's a good number of people that are what you say. They put out those negative comments and negative energy because sometimes it's people are just mean, and it's easy to do it.
Oh yeah,
and it's easy to do it, like you said, when the person's not gonna see you, they're not gonna reach out to you, they're not gonna,
Yeah, because you're on a keyboard and you're looking at a screen or a phone. It's easy to put, "Hey, I hate you. You suck."
Yeah.
But tell that to the person to their face.
Mm-hmm.
You won't. That's
Right.
why it's easy for you to just do it behind a screen. If you don't like someone or you disagree with someone, tell it to their face. What does it matter? If you're gonna be big bad about it, well then go say to them. Don't hide behind the screen and diminish these people and talk about these people so much to where they want to quit and all that. No, why? What's the point? What's the purpose of it? To make yourself feel better about what? You know what I mean?
Well, I feel you, and that's why I'm saying I feel like in the day and age in which we live in, there's is a number of people that will say it because they're behind a screen, behind a keyboard, behind whatever, and it's not going to happen. But honestly, the world has become such a crazy world, such a low standard, hateful kind of place that now people are really ballsy to tell you something even to your face because they feel that nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, I mean, even if I tell them to their face when they're saying, what are they going to do? And
you might run into the one that will do something.
And to their credit, you're right. You might end up telling me exactly what you think and how you feel, and I might not do anything. But sooner or later, like you said, you're going to run into the guy that is thinking just like you, that's like, I don't care. You can tell me what you want to tell me, and then how I react on what I want to do to you, I don't care either.
Pretty much, they're going to fuck around and find out.
Pretty much. And that's just...
It's true.
That's what it's become.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's 100% true.
Yeah.
I never understood hate comments, and I would never do one because honestly, I don't care. It's like, yeah, you do it, whatever, if I watch somebody, if I follow somebody, I enjoy what they're doing. It makes it's either funny, or motivating, or it's just someone having fun.
Exactly.
Why are you gonna hate on someone like that? You know, like I'm
Right.
sure some will probably sooner or later some will hate comment us. We'll just laugh about
Maybe.
it.
I'm gonna laugh about it. I'll be like, well, that's funny, and then I'm
Yeah.
either gonna reply or I'm not gonna reply,
But we'll talk about it.
and we'll talk about it,
Yeah.
and it's fine. You know, you got to pick your battles. You know, there's some that you either, and me personally, I don't address anything online at all anymore
Yeah.
because I don't have the time for it.
It does.
I have things to do,
Yeah, it's
and other, you know, just stuff, important stuff. So, I mean, they could keep them coming. At the end of the day, I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter to me
because we're still
whatsoever.
we're still gonna do what we do. We're just gonna talk about whatever that comment was.
So, but man, it's been great.
Is that a podcast?
That's a podcast,
Okay,
and I can't wait for the next one for sure.
I can't either.
It's gonna be great, and we'll get it set up. I'll get everything going to know that it's up and running and working. We don't want to have any hiccups.
Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be great. I'm stoked.
All right. That's a podcast.
That's a podcast. Everybody, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment.
Please comment
Please comment, because then
on everything we talked about, especially this last little bit we just talked about. Comment. What are everyone's opinions or views on that?
on
you know.
people that leave negative comments and why they do it, you know, whatever you have, whatever opinion you got on that, and you know, hopefully next one we can also address that with the guest that we're gonna have.
Yeah, because he's gonna have a lot to say about that.
But for now, that's a wrap. We'll be seeing you guys on the next one.
All right.
Later.